We're back. It's another exciting and educative edition of APSA Ready to Work. And I hope that you're enjoying the conversation so far. I mean, basically, we're getting you ready for the competitive work environment. And it's important, especially for those of you who are in school, to understand that even before you come out of school, you should have, a plan. Don't wait till you get out of school before you now start looking for a job. Sometimes you need to help yourself out and connect in the right places to ensure that you are ready the moment you graduate to take up the working world. And that's why we're going to have this conversation, not only for students, but of course, for anyone who's also looking for a job as well. What do you need to do to ensure that you have the right money skills, you have the right work skills, the people skills, and entrepreneurial skills? And so my name is Brella. I am your host, and my special guests today are going to give you all the deets that you need in order to prepare you adequately for the world of work. They both are here, and they will introduce themselves, actually. So I'll start with you, Carl.
Yeah, so I'm Carl, and I'm a marketing partner at APSA. So what it means, I handle marketing. I work with my colleagues in the marketing department. I am here to provide a young person's perspective, right, into getting into the competitive world of work.
Important, of course. And he'll tell us a bit about how he also prepared himself. He has quite an interesting story, and I really want you to hear it. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Bella, so my name is Isaac. I'm the head of leadership, learning, and talent at APSA. I'm here to provide the employer and recruiter's perspective because that's part of my role.
Very important. When we say be ready for work or ready to work, what does it really mean and entail?
So basically, it's about you knowing, first of all, what the requirements are to get the specific job you are actually chasing after. It is also about you understanding the various industries and what they are expecting you to have for you to join them. And then the final part is you being able to secure yourself the key soft skills that are required for you to connect in a working environment.
How easy or difficult is it for a lot of young people to have all these skills you're talking about?
Interestingly, it's very, very difficult for us, but I should expect.
For us, you mean for the recruiters?
Yes.
Why?
Largely because young graduates these days do not take into perspective what is really required in the corporate world. It's always about, oh, I just finished school, I have this degree, I got first class, so I should be able, any company should pick me. But it's not as easy as it sounds.
First class is not enough?
It's not. It's not. You should remember that you're getting into a corporate environment. It's more like a family that you're going to be with. And you should know how to actually connect with the family. Yeah. So where a young graduate completes school and it's all about, oh, the qualification I have should be what will get me into the corporate environment, and not necessarily the various skills that are required to get you to gel within a team and produce the output, it becomes difficult for you to get a job.
So if we have a room full of maybe 100 graduates, how many of them are likely to be ready?
Wow, that's a big question. You're probably going to find maybe 1 in 10. 1 in 10.
1 in 10?
Yes.
Wow.
1 in 10. And it's also going to be connected to the number of positions the company is really looking to fill. So if there's one role, the best person that fits the role takes it. It doesn't matter whether 1,000 people applied for it. But there are times where you're probably going to find a number of people show the key skills, and then the companies will probably pipeline some of them for future role. But you will definitely be saying 1 in 10.
Carl, this is disturbing. 1 in 10. Where did you fall at the time you were in school? Were you the 1 out of the 10, or you were the 9 out of the 10?
So maybe fortunately for me, the company wasn't recruiting for just one person.
Okay.
So I think we're a few. But I think the challenge comes because a lot of people start preparing for the world of work when they are in final year or after they graduate. That's when they start preparing. But preparation takes time. So you should start preparing maybe in level 200, or maybe in your first year. You should start building your connections and building your skills and stuff like that.
First year, I'm as confused as anything in my first year. I probably have taken up a course that my parents forced me to do and not necessarily what I'm interested in. Or I wanted to go along to the university because my friends were there. So whatever course they gave me, I took it. How then would I know that in level 100 or maybe even 200, this is what I want to become and I need to work towards it?
So you see, that's the difference, right? There are people who know,
Yeah.
believe you me, like he said, the one person that's going to get selected. That comes because the person put in the effort, right? So if you can't say that, yes, you are confused and stuff, and it's true, it's a very valid point. People are confused. So that's why you need to have conversations with people in the industry, right?
Okay.
Because it's your preparation for the world of work should start early enough.
Okay.
You should be able to build those skills and working experience and stuff like that.
When did yours start?
So mine started in second year.
Second year, you knew you wanted to work in a bank or in a financial institution?
So
Or
I've
in
always
ASA?
known I wanted to work in a bank. So my mom works in a bank.
Okay.
So I think that influence sort of wrapped on me. So I've always wanted to work in a bank. So yeah, it's just been in the back of my mind.
So what did you do to make sure that at the time you were graduating, you already had a job? Because from what I'm finding out, you literally had a job by the time you graduated. You did national service anyway,
Yeah.
but at least after that, you were assured of a job with APSA.
So I wasn't assured of a job.
Okay.
Right? I had to apply. But then again, how good your application is depends on how strong your CV is and the kind of skills that you have built, right? Those skills take time. You can't build those skills in a few months, right? So
Yeah.
it takes time. Your networks too count, right? Because I spoke to somebody who was working it was Barclays then. So I
Okay.
spoke to somebody there and he recommended the program to me, the graduate program, right? So that's how I actually
How did
joined
you
the
meet
business.
this person?
So
Find this
it
person.
was during a mentorship program that one of the lecturers in school had organized, and I just decided to join the program.
Okay.
And then I met this guy, and I took his contact. So we were just having conversations here and there. He was sharing some insights on what I should do if I want to join a bank, some of the skills I
Okay.
should look to develop and stuff like that.
Wow, that's interesting. But key thing, so one of your professors organized some
Yeah.
mentorship class,
Yeah.
and you were privileged to take part in it, and that's how you met this person. I'm sure someone is probably thinking, but your mother is a banker. It should have been easy for you to just go through your mom and get a
Yeah.
job anyway.
So yes, my mom is a banker, but so the fact that you work in a bank doesn't mean that you have all the connections to connect somebody to
Yeah.
work in a bank, right? My mom works in a different bank, but I'm here in APSA. So yeah.
It's a good thing then, because then he took advantage of whatever arrangements were made while he was in school.
Exactly.
And that's how he's here today. But there's someone who say, what about me? My lecturer hasn't organized any mentorship class. I haven't heard about any mentorship class. How then do I meet someone that you could call a mentor, right? To help me get a job
Bella,
or prepare me.
there are quite a number of ways to do that. Interestingly, your phone can actually be your first launch pad. Social media has given us a room to connect with quite a number of people who are already at the peak of the industry you want to get to. So that can be your leverage. I've seen young graduates connect on LinkedIn. If
Yeah.
one of the professional sites, and they connect to professionals, and then from there they pick up and then probably move into in-person engagements.
Yeah.
Aside that, you would also need to do a couple of research, especially within the industries, the ones that you really want to get into, and then try and connect with the people that are there as well. I think starting from that area, you're able to see your way around. You're also able to get someone who will give you some insights into those areas, especially if that is the area you want to get to. And if you
Yeah.
do not understand what really goes on there, that is your go-to person who will probably give you all the insights into that area. Trust me, it's not going online and doing all the research is not enough. I'll probably put it as the 10% of the
Yeah.
work. The actual activity, which is connecting with someone who knows it, been there, done that, will take you a 70%.
So then you should be deliberate about who you choose as your mentor if you're interested in a particular field.
Exactly.
And that person should come from that field?
That person should come from that field. However, when you're building your career, it's not just about you getting to know someone who is coming from the field. You may probably pick a couple of mentors and coaches who probably played very well, they are cast very well in their career, so you can learn a thing or two about how to navigate your career throughout. Because what happens if the person doesn't really understand certain trends which someone else could have been able to help you with. So you need to connect with a number of people, but within the industry, you definitely need someone there as well.
Carl, how many mentors do you have in your work field?
So maybe in the business, I have one.
Okay.
Yes, that is when I say business, I mean APSA.
Yeah.
That I speak to. But I think having a mentor should, for me, essentially means having somebody I can have a conversation with on a certain subject, right? So it may not be about it's about my career, but maybe not about the skills I need to develop, but maybe how to handle difficult conversations with your manager, how to work with difficult colleagues because everybody has a different perspective, right? So sometimes having conversation with people who are like advanced in their career shares insights on how you manage these things, how you build your people skills, how you build your communication skills and other soft skills. So yeah, you can have a number of mentors, just people that you look up to, just people that you can have conversations with about certain things.
That's important.
Yeah, that's very important.
Now, beyond just having a coach, and I know we've talked about how a lot of people, and unfortunately young people, are not necessarily ready. So beyond having a coach and maybe taking advantage of mentorship classes, what are some of the key things that I need to do in order to get on the right career path?
I'll probably put learning as the next important thing.
Okay.
Young graduates tend to think right after school is done. Maybe the next time will be doing my master's. No.
Yeah.
Learning should be something natural to you. You should be picking up what is going on in the corporate environment, what is going on in the industry, what is going on around you, and also learning the key soft skills. He mentioned a couple of them, which is necessary. And interestingly, that is changing every time. So if a young graduate says, okay, I learned during my communication class level 100 how to communicate with people, that is an outdated information. You need to ask yourself which platforms can provide you that. And I think on social media or on the net, now we have a number of online schools, universities that you can connect with. So constantly learning is very important. I think the next piece will be how you actually bring that to life. So you making sure that you're picking some internships even before. And he gave a point around starting your preparation when you're in school. So if you've not finished school, please make sure you just get yourself into an internship. It will give you a best eye view or a first-hand information around how it feels like to be in a corporate world, and then it prepares you.
But if you say keep learning, I mean, it will cost to learn. Some of these apps online are not cheap.
Oh yeah.
They are not free either. If they are free, they'll give you just the first paragraph and say, if you want to learn more, please subscribe, and you have to pay this amount of money or not. If I'm a young person who's, yes, I want to develop, but I can't afford, some of these things, does it then fall on my institution? And unfortunately, a lot of our institutions, we're told, are more theoretical than practical. How then do I balance this to ensure that I get the utmost from whatever experience I'm in?
So I'll give you a personal experience.
Okay.
What I picked on when I finished school was around doing research and reading more about what people have done, latest trends on Google. So Google is more like your free number one university in the world. You can try that. The second one is YouTube. I don't think you need any money to actually get on there, apart from you getting some money to buy data.
Yeah.
I think that should be your first launch pad. And you should know some keywords to search, maybe how to communicate effectively in school. And then when you get onto Google and you're searching for it, look for the latest content by the dates, and don't go for the ones that are like 5 years old, 10 years old, but go for the latest content, and that helps you. Probably when you get some money here and there, maybe $100, $200, then you can connect to some of the platforms like Coursera, Udemy, and the rest. But even on there, probably within the Black Friday period, you can lock yourself onto a number of courses for, let's say, $1 or maybe £1, and that helps. Don't wait for the point where you probably be paying much more money before you get it.
You want to touch on this?
Yeah, so I mean, back to the conversation about having somebody you can speak to, right? A lot of people know that maybe I want to work in a bank, but they simply do not know the skills that they will need in the bank. And if you don't know what to look for, how do you say then that I want to learn this, because you don't know you have to learn this, right? So that's why it's important for you to have a conversation with somebody who is already in in the industry you want to work with. And also, internships also provide you a great opportunity to learn, right?
And you did a lot of that while you were in
Yeah, I did a number of that while I was in
Okay.
school. When I had a chance to do a few. So
Okay.
yeah, so they provide you with a great opportunity, right, to learn what happens in the real world and the kind of skills. So when you get there, you start seeing that, okay, so this is what these people actually do. These are the skills these people actually use, right? So these are skills that I need to develop. It's not just an opportunity for you to just go and sit there and just while away time and stuff like
Let's get a little personal, because I want to know what kind of challenges you encountered when you were, on the journey to discovering yourself, discovering your career path and all that. What were some of the very difficult moments?
So for me, I think one of the main challenges I face and I still face is knowing what knowing what to do in future, if I may put it that way. Let me explain.
Okay.
So I see a lot of opportunities around me, right? I see a lot of learning opportunities around me. I see a lot of things that I can do.
Yeah.
So the question is now, what do I do? You get it? So I see maybe one day I wake up and I want to go into data. I can do it. There are learning opportunities available. It's something I can do. I think I'm a fast learner. So one day I just get up and I decide to do it, right? The next day I want to go into something else, right? Now, so the question I always ask myself is, the challenge I always have is, how do I make a decision that I don't end up wasting my time and energy and resources in learning a skill that I will not use?
Okay.
You get it? That's a challenge that I still face. How I'm trying to overcome this challenge again is by speaking to people, right? To know what skills are actually needed for certain things, right?
Yeah.
Now, also, I think learning doesn't go to waste, right? So for me, if I invest in a course or I invest in a skill and I end up not using it, that's how I'm managing that challenge. I just say to myself that it's fine. Learning never goes to waste.
Yeah.
You never know when you need that knowledge elsewhere. So yeah,
I like that you brought this up, because sometimes like you said, find a mentor mostly in the field that you are interested in. But let's say I happen to chance upon a mentor who says, I'm going to help you direct your life. I'm in this field, and you're like, I'm confused. I'm not sure what to do. I have an interest in maybe the field you're in as my mentor, but I also have other interests in other fields. How then do you ensure that you're, with the help of your mentor, you're choosing the right one? Because there are people who wake up one day and say, oh, I want to be a doctor. The next year, they're like, no, I'm not sure this is what I wanted to become. So now I want to study something totally different. And then there's confusion everywhere.
Okay, so it's a human nature. First of all, we will constantly be looking for something that is trending, or look for changes in our careers or in our lives. I look at it this way. You should know yourself. You should know what you're interested in. You should know what makes you tick. Some people may have hobbies that they can review very well and then realize there are some trends that connects to what they can do. Others may also be much more comfortable or happier doing certain things.
Yeah.
And once you have those details down, and you've been able to also verify that with your friends, what are you so good at? What do you normally do? Or what do you do when you're with them? And they tell you all that, and you've been able to map out who you are. It makes it easier to hold a conversation with your mentor.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And once your mentor also understands that you know yourself very well, they are able to use your knowledge of yourself to help you navigate your path. It will surprise you to know that someone will probably be in a field that you're not so interested in, but because of the way you're putting things, they may be able to help you map yourself to the right area, not necessarily force you towards that end. Those days were the days of our parents, where they feel like, oh, I was an accountant, so you should be
exactly.
Those days are not are long gone. I think the current generation of parents and mentors and the rest are more interested in what you know of yourself, so they can help you too.
As a recruiter, if I come and sit in front of you as a young graduate, can you tell if I'm really interested in this job, or I'm just, trying to find myself? I'm quite curious. And what would you exactly look out for in order to choose me over everybody else?
So recruiters focus on competency. Okay, how competent you are. And those ones, every company has the key competencies that they feel, if available in the company, they will be able to deliver their strategy. So the questions I'll ask in company A will be different from the questions I'll ask if I'm working with company B.
Okay.
Because it needs to link. And you should be able to tell me with experience what you've been able to do that shows you're capable of doing that.
Experience when I just completed level 400?
It depends. So, and that's where I'll probably say young graduates must know the kind of startup jobs they should pick up. Because if you listen to Carl probably came from the graduate program, and that
Yeah.
will probably call for zero experience, right?
Oh.
And within that, there is more learning to prove your worth within the process, whilst you have a formal job. And then there are those entry-level jobs that also calls for 0 to 2 years experience. And mind you, the internship and the rest can also be counted as you getting experience.
You're saying can, so in some cases they may not.
It depends. If the internship you did doesn't link to that,
To the job. Oh.
so you have to be very clear on how you're building your career journey, and then
Okay.
the path that you're taking. So if I mentioned that you have the experience, you should be able to tell me how you've actually lived it. I've interviewed someone whose experiences came from the way they were helping their parents bakery business.
Okay.
How they actually helped their parents to actually sell the person's mother, how she helped their mother to actually sell. And that shows that the person understood the essence of sales and what sales does in the business.
Yeah.
That is a competency we're looking at.
Okay.
You get it? But I'm not looking for someone who can rattle theory.
Or someone who has probably done internship only in a bank.
Yeah. Not,
Do you get it? Because as long as you have some skill,
Exactly.
some sales skills.
Then whichever role that you're picking, which is linked towards sales, you can easily get it. So it doesn't matter the kind of industries you go into to get your internship. The key essence is, how did you deliver? And what did you get out of it? And when we ask you the question and say, tell me about a time, what was it? When? How did you go about it? What was the result?
Yeah.
And you are able to relive that. It makes it easier for us to say, okay, if you've been able to do this, we can hand this to you.
Yeah.
And a lot of young graduates think, if I memorize this, I'll be able to say it. We'll catch you.
They will?
We will catch you if you memorize.
I see. Do you remember what your interview session was like? Did you even have to undergo?
Yeah, I had
That-
to go through
okay.
a number of them. But I think for me, at every step, there were two things I was trying to demonstrate, right? And I think that's for me a hack.
Okay.
Right? It's try and demonstrate that you have the right attitude, and try and demonstrate that you have the right skills.
Right attitude is subjective. So when you say that, how do we make it
Yeah.
as objective as possible?
So they are looking, like he said, they're asking you for scenarios, right? So they want to see if you have the right work ethic, you have the right mindset, you have a learning mindset, how you are able to adapt to challenges. Those are the things they are looking out for. So if you go into an interview, right, knowing that, or you're going to meet a recruiter, you know that these are the things. When I leave, I have to make sure that he knows that I can do these things.
Yeah.
That I have the right attitude. That I'm open to learning new things. That I am able to adapt to new things and new processes, right? And that I have the skill set. Maybe it might be an entry-level role, so you wouldn't need to be a professional.
Okay.
But you still have those skills that are needed, right? So those are the two things that when you meet a recruiter, you have to leave him satisfied knowing that I have the right attitude and I have the right skills.
Once you don't have that, you won't be selected.
I feel people have at least some of them.
So you don't look for all, at least if you have some.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And you will realize that all these details are always given way ahead. Even when you see the adverts, posted, all the details that you need to exhibit is
Yeah.
already in there. But you have a situation where young graduates don't read. They see the job title. Does this link with me, or is this going to be fancy enough when my friends realize I have this title?
Yeah.
Then they go for it. But when you take time to go through all the details and then you bring it to yourself and ask yourself, when have I exhibited this? It could be that it was during your project work, the way you took your team through. Maybe you were the leader, maybe
Yeah.
you were the laid back person who was course correcting the whole process behind the scenes. All these are attributes, and you should ask yourself, these ones, do they link to the competencies the company is looking for? If they do, then you know you're in the right place, and you should be able to tell the story well.
You should be able to tell the story well. I mean, it won't be easy. I won't lie to you. It won't be easy. But for those of you who are watching, if you have any questions, just a reminder that those questions will be picked up on and answered as you're watching. So please don't worry. We'll try and answer because we can't get them to answer all your questions for you. But for you, if you have any advice for young people as they're watching us and they're probably trying to figure out how to get ready for work, what would be that one major advice you'd give them?
So my advice would be to look for learning opportunities, right? There are lots of them out there. Take advantage of them. Just try and build your skill sets so that you have the skills that these guys are looking for. Because I think employers are looking for people with the skills that they need. Another thing would be to speak to somebody, right? Look for somebody in an industry. If you want to be a lawyer, speak to a lawyer. If you want to be a banker, speak to a banker, and then actually know what it is that happens in their line of work, and see if it's something that you can do or you want to do. And the person might also be able to help you or guide you on the path, so that you can also be there one day.
What about you? 4 major things that young people should look out for or should work on if they want to, well, please maybe quite, but yeah, if they want to make sure they get the job and they're ready for the world of work.
Okay, so I'll probably say the first one will be know yourself.
Okay.
Understand who you are, understand the key skills you've got, and try and find out how you've lived it over a period of time, probably from school through to the point of internships and the rest.
Okay.
The second part is networking. Very, very important. Carl mentioned it. I've mentioned it in the conversation. You need to use it. I think we didn't mention the body part, but that is also very important. Your friends who know a thing or two that you don't know, connect with them and then sponge on the skills they've got, so you can build that to add to yourself.
What if my friends don't want to help?
There's a way to always do that. You know your friend knows how to actually do Excel very well. Whilst you're doing it, find time to actually be around them and then ask them a question or two on it. And then when you go back, you can try your hands on it. And then the third part is that start early. You should be ready to experiment or probably experience what happens in the corporate environment. So you'll be able to answer that question right after school. It's not going to be the same school environment. It will be in a corporate environment where there are structures in place where you need to connect. If you're an introvert, you need to find a way to work around all that. And then probably final one is don't fall for peer pressure. It is very important.
When you say don't fall for peer pressure, what does it mean?
So your friends, or you realize probably in your community, everybody is going after something. It doesn't mean that's links to you. It doesn't mean that is where you're supposed to be. If you follow the first points I made about get to know yourself, it will make you realize how unique you are, and then you can leverage your uniqueness to be better. So peer pressure, if you're using it as the buddy system where you're learning skills off them, is better. But if it's peer pressure around, oh, someone is chasing after something big, so I need to chase after that same thing. Someone is going here, I need to follow that thing. Then you know you're in for trouble.
But that's the difficult thing because, and a lot of graduates say this, after 5 years, everybody's looking at the heights that they've all attained, and you feel left out when everybody has a job. Maybe a few of them have been able to buy a house, some can rent buy a car, rent a house, and you don't even have a job. It makes it very difficult.
It's always a race, and you probably see someone sprint at the start, but it's a journey. It's not a 100-meter dash.
Yeah.
Okay. If you decide to go step by step, you build that resilience, and you can actually have your heart beat and beat rate, consistently carrying you through that journey, and that is more important. Someone may probably get a house now, but who knows? You probably get the penthouse that the person will be able to get somebody in future. So it works in that context. It's a journey, it's not a sprint. So you shouldn't be focused on
It's a journey, it is not a sprint. Know yourself. Don't allow peer pressure to rock your boat. Stay in your lane and develop yourself as you move along. And like you said, start early. Don't wait till you're at level 400, final semester, when you're working on your thesis that's when you want to quickly find yourself in one space or the other. Start, if you can, from level 100, level 200, and get as many internships as possible. It's important. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. And I hope that you've gleaned a lot from what we have discussed today to prepare you for the world of work. Remember that you just need to download the APSA Ready to Work app, and there are 4 modules that we need you to complete. So the entrepreneurial skills, you get work skills, you get money skills, and also you get people skills. It's important. Complete the 4 modules and make sure that you benefit as much as possible from APSA Ready to Work podcast. My name is Bella, and again, thank you so much for joining us. And when you see us again, I'm sure that we'll be coming your way with some more exciting and educative content. This has been APSA Ready to Work. See ya.